They watched each other's back in Iraq. Many were part of the same unit over there, patrolling the dangerous streets and towns under hostile eyes. For servicemen and women, it's more than just a day's work. Lives are at stake, and the pressure to get through the days and weeks is palpable. And then, like veterans of so many other wars, they come home.
This is the squad I served with overseas in Iraq.
James Fishback returned to Clackamas County. The men he served with for more than a year returned at the same time, to the same place.
Brandon Reese and myself and Michael O'Reilly and Adon Mendoza.
What they all have in common now, besides serving together in war, is serving together in peace, at home in Wilsonville. And that, Fishback says, is an advantage for all of them in the business world.
You know, based on the fact that we'd been able to handle high-stress situations together before, we knew that that working together in a business environment, which also is can be a high-stress situation, we knew that that it wouldn't faze us.
So I told him we'd give him 6 or 7 names, and that'll help him and his team decide what
they're all part of a technology-based company called Vertec. It hasn't been around long, and everyone who works there returned home to other jobs at first. But Vertec, which provides improved web-based software for industries, including the military, is well underway, and it started in the sands of Iraq.
It was a rock drill, a sand drill, if you will, while we were in country. A lot of the ideas and the basic concepts of the organization did get put together in our downtime. When you're on guard and on patrols for 12 hours at a time, you got plenty of time to think about what you're going to do when you get home. So a lot of it did start overseas. It was a side business, though. When we first got here, it was like, well, we'll try to do this on the side and see how things pan out. And it's just grown a lot larger and faster than we anticipated. So
it was a pretty easy adjustment for me, just because I've been fairly used to it from the job I had before that I left.
There's a common bond there that isn't established working with non-veterans quite as rapidly. Even with the people that we have that are veterans that we weren't stationed overseas with, just by virtue of the fact that we had a common military experience, particularly common experience being in combat operations. There's sort of an unspoken bond there.
And so a group of veterans, all in their 20s with previous technology and marketing skills, are making something happen. There's no set formula for success when a veteran leaves the service. Some have previous jobs or skills to return or fall back on. For others, it's not so straightforward. Returning to civilian life can be disorienting.
I tell them, the way you can help is when you hold a post meeting, find out who your business owners are.
Right.
That's where Rick Rutherford of Veterans Outreach of Clackamas County comes in. Armed with government grants, Rutherford is out to set life on the right track for those who can't get there on their own, the way the founders of Vertec have.
My job as an outreach coordinator is to look to the veteran service organizations and the veterans themselves. This grant specifically has me doing outreach for homeless veterans and unemployed veterans. And I provide linkages to the available resources in today's workforce. Clackamas County's, of its 350,000 residents, 37,500 are veterans, which is roughly 15% of the population of the county. Per capita, it's one of the higher veteran populations in the nation.
One of those veterans is 23-year-old Nathan Loeffler. Fresh from the Marines and back from Iraq for just a month now, Loeffler is biding his time and looking for work.
There's always that doubt that you're not going to get the job.
And so he's applying for work, mostly for warehouse jobs.
It's what I did for 4 years, so that's what I want to stick to, because I know how to do it.
He knows the transition is unlike anything he's ever experienced before.
You're so used to the military life, you come back to this and you're like, oh, well, I have to actually find a job now. And if I don't have to wake up or be lazy, and you want to find the job so you can earn a living. And
we had to wear the goggles because you couldn't see or breathe, and we had to wear face masks.
His mother, Gail, says she wants her son to make the adjustment, but doesn't want to rush him.
As they're starting out and they're looking for jobs, we as their parents want to guide, we want to direct, we want to help in every way we can, but we don't want to push too far. We don't want to push too much, because they are exhausted and we don't know exactly where to fit as parents.
Gail says that's where a Veterans Outreach coordinator like Rick Rutherford can take the lead and help veterans like Nathan.
I was very excited to find out that these vets do have resources and government funded resources to help them try and fit, whether it's job location or medical assistance or financial knowledge. So I was excited about that, so that as parents we can sort of find other resources for them.
Those resources come in many forms in Clackamas County for a large number of local vets in need.
So have you been doing electrician work outside of the military?
Tony Walton of the Oregon City office of the Oregon Employment Department knows those numbers and realizes the challenges facing the county in particular. Rutherford and Walton work together to try to mix and match veterans with jobs. He helps veterans both fresh out of the service and from years past. Walton helps find them work in Clackamas County, which is among the leaders in Oregon in providing service men and women to the armed forces. Many serve through the National Guard and the Reserve. Walton says more come home from the current war zone in Iraq and Afghanistan every month. Add veterans from past wars like Desert Storm in Vietnam, and the number of people looking for work grows even higher.
It's a big challenge, but we still try to encourage our vets to go out and look for work and try to help them any way that we possibly can.
Since the years that followed World War II, servicemen have been coming home to a modern workplace with a new set of demands. Back then, the veterans used the GI Bill to go back to school or get training to pick up with their lives. Today, considering higher housing costs and challenges facing veteran administrative services, the landscape looks even more challenging in a state where jobs are already hard to find. Some who come back have no jobs waiting for them. Others lost their jobs while away, as their employers cut back or shut down altogether in the face of Oregon's faltering economy. Walton works with veterans because he's one himself, having served in the Navy, coming home to start a civilian career.
And I can relate more so with that veteran because I was a veteran and I know the issues of how hard it was trying to find a job when you got out. And I know what you did while you were in the service. So I know that a veteran can be a positive thing, a positive person for a business.
That person is moving out of state.
One of those veterans is 22-year-old Alex Lound, a former Marine looking to start a civilian career. He had limited options coming out of the military.
I either had two choices, either choose a low-income job or go back to school.
Lound worked as a painter for a while, but wanted a better future. So now he's in the Employment Department's work-study program, while he goes to school at Clackamas Community College. But like a lot of other veterans Walton works with, Lound has a disadvantage, a disability.
I injured my shoulder, tore most of the major ligaments and tendons in my left shoulder.
It shortened his tour of duty and limits his choice of work, but he does have career plans.
A registered nurse. Finished my prerequisites at Clackamas, transferred to OHSU for my bachelor's degree in nursing, and then tried to get into ultrasound, radiography, and maybe pediatrics. So two hours for each class, doing the 2-to-1 ratio.
And he says the county's programs are making that happen.
I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for them helping me or giving me the advice that I needed for getting this far.
The result can be a career in medicine, as Lound is hoping, or even a more roll-up-your-sleeves type job. This Les Schwab in Oregon City is a case in point. 2 veterans work here.
Probably for what you're doing, you can get into these ones fairly reasonably priced.
Royce Buckley is an assistant manager. He's planning to make manager soon and says his background coming out of the Navy served him much the way the Army did for those veterans at Vertec.
What tires we need to pull? Coming into the workforce, I knew I was an employable person at that point. This company here gave me the information I needed to succeed with their company. So anytime you have somebody that will allow you to succeed, you're going to do well. Transitioning from the military or anything, you know, it works well. Tearing it up, huh? Yeah!
Adam Huddleston, the other assistant manager, is convinced Buckley is a strong candidate for promotion.
Royce is going to be a really good manager. And I can see that, you know, just in his day-to-day activity here at Oregon City. The two of us, you know, it takes teamwork to keep this business running, and I couldn't ask for a better partner.
I just want to find out how all them brake jobs are going up there in the alignment center. How's everything scheduled going well for you?
Good.
Good?
Doing real good.
Everything on time?
Yeah.
It becomes a matter of matching the right veteran to the right place of business, and it embodies the very mission of the county's Veteran Outreach Program, tapping the qualities of servicemen for civilian opportunities.
Some of our veterans are able to self-advocate and find employment on their own,
and some are not. So I think this program is essential to those veterans who are undecided or unsure of what direction to go.
Things weren't as easy for Kirk Schroll at first. Buckley's co-worker at that same Les Schwab.
Yeah, Jeremy got it up in the air, and I just
meant jumping from job to job after leaving the Navy until he found the right fit.
Of course, moving back, I had to move in temporarily with my parents until I kind of got some kind of temporary work and started making a little bit of money. And mechanics, I was always something really good at, so I got lucky and started here, and it's worked out ever since.
For Schroll, it was just a matter of patience, although he knows veterans who struggle after life in the service.
I've heard other people, you know, they might have had a little bit more tougher time because you get out with, you know, if you don't have any direction of where you want to go or what to do, it's going to be tougher for those guys. Work's not hard to find. You got to go in and sell yourself, basically. You got to let them know that no matter what the job is, you can do it.
He found his direction and is living life on his own terms after leaving the Navy. There was a time as a younger man he was just getting into the military, and life afterwards seemed far off.
These guys come back, they've been trained to take and execute orders, be team leaders, be team participants, and just based on those essential intangibles make them very employable, and more so than someone who doesn't have that skill set.
The military promotes itself as a training ground for civilian jobs, like the ones held at Vertec and Les Schwab.
We got to see those soldier skills firsthand. They've got profound abilities, both within team integrity and just the ability to kind of adapt and overcome, answer challenges, be you know, self-sufficient for the most part. And for us, we know that. It's not, we don't have to stretch our minds too far to realize that regardless of how it looks on paper, these folks have got, you know, the ability to be an extreme asset to our organizations.
I think they're more task orientated than other people. They get on a task and they're, you know, more inclined to stay on that until it's done. So in that aspect, task orientation is probably better than just your average employee.
But sometimes that's not enough. Sometimes the very people who served America well need some help in return. For more information on employment services for veterans, contact the Veterans Outreach Coordinator at Clackamas County Social Services at 503-650-5768. In Clackamas County, in more ways than one, there's help out there.